I just basically want to talk about my life and how I got to do things, how I got to go around the world. I've been to all the continents and up and down lots of mountains, through jungles, deserts, and been on long walks in places like Tasmania, Kiribati, the Amazon as well, big trips there, up the Amazon River, and in Japan too, on the Shikoku pilgrimage, which is about 1,200 kilometres. So I'm just going to talk about all those things and go right back to the start. It's going to be a bit awkward at first because I'm just getting used to this. So let's see how I go, and we'll get into the details of the trips and stuff, and kind of a chronological order, and then how I actually did everything as well. And it wasn't, I could have had the connections because my father was a well-known photographer, and I entered that field, tried to enter that field, but without really the innate skills that my father had, the innate artistic skills. I could see what I wanted, but I couldn't quite get there technically. I was a long way off really. It wasn't just a little bit, it was a long way off. But I knew, well, at least I thought I knew what was good art. And so I studied a lot. I looked at every single page of every single National Geographic since its inception up until 2010. They were both physical copies and the DVDs that were released as well. I went through about 4,000 art books as well, listened to a lot of things on art and writing and stuff. I can write basically. I could always write as a child, so I wrote stories and stuff, and I studied that as well professionally, and I've written books too. But still, I don't like the actual day-to-day of being a writer, which means you're sitting down for 10 hours a day writing basically, and you're trapped inside your head, and that for me creates depression and sleepiness as well. I'd rather have a camera or a video camera of some sort and be out in nature and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, walk all day shooting as I go along. And the great thing with photography as opposed to shooting videos is that you don't have the camera out. You're in the moment and you're just shooting. You're in the moment and you're experiencing that moment. And then when something comes, then you shoot that and then you put the camera away again. And if you've got an optical viewfinder as well, you never have to look at a screen either. You're always in this optical world, the real world. And I think with an optical viewfinder as well, it enhances the experience because you're looking at light. There's no digital delay, as I call it, because once you've got something digital, there's always a delay of the light hitting your eye. I mean, it does have to go through the pentaprism, of course, with optical setup if you've got an SLR, but still you're looking at light basically, which I enjoy. I mean, that's something that I enjoy, to look at light. And yeah, when you have an EVF, electronic viewfinder, then you know exactly what you're going to get. So you can adjust just the exposure and stuff and the depth of field, and you know what you're going to get exactly. But after a while, using an SLR with an optical viewfinder, then you know as well, and you can just stay within the experience. Or with a Leica camera too. I had a Leica camera for a while, and that was amazing, just staying right in there too, always with the same view too. But you don't have accurate framing. I really like accurate framing. Maybe not so much now, it's okay, but before, when I was younger, then I wanted to get everything perfect basically. But as I was saying, I didn't have those innate skills. I just kind of guessed, I suppose, and I was using my passion too. I do and always have had a passion for nature and walking and being in nature, and I've got the physical strength, I know, to go through these places as well. With about 30 kilograms, that's about my max that I'll take. But where I've taken 30 kilograms about 150 k's before, that's fording rivers and in winter and up and down mountains and all the rest of it too. So that's about as much as I'd want to take. I took 20 kilograms on another trip through a desert around an island, and that was fine. And when I did the pilgrimage, it was probably about 7 or 8 kilograms, something like that. So I didn't even feel that really. But yeah, I'd like to go back to the start where this all basically began. And right now, I'm sitting on the other side of the world from where I was born, about the furthest place I can be. I'm about 15,000 k's away from the place I was born, which is Hobart in Tasmania, an island in the south of Australia, basically. And in the south of that island is the capital city, Hobart. So really far away. And then now I'm in Colombia, in the mountains here at about 1,000 metres above the elevation, on the coast, the Caribbean coast, in what's called the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, or it's also called Gonawindua or Shumdue by some of the indigenous groups here. And it's one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. They have about 150 species of hummingbird alone. And then all the climates, all the from the tropics down on the coast up to glaciers up at the peaks, which terminated about 5,700 metres. There's twin peaks up there that are about the same height. And I've been up to those peaks to take some photos as well. But yeah, here I am in this place somehow. Somehow I managed to turn up here from being born in Tasmania and going all around the world. And I've come back to Colombia many times. And just a side note as well is that I was thinking about how much I actually earned over all these years, and the average would only be about 20,000 Australian a year, basically. The prices have gone up for everything, so you would need a lot more to do things now. But I did everything on a budget, basically. And some trips, you know, I went on them to the Galapagos Islands is something that comes to mind, and I actually booked that, and it was the cheapest boat. And I got there, and because I had a booking, they said that it was all full, the cheapest ones, and they put me on first class for some reason. That was like about 3 times the price. So those kinds of things happened multiple times as well. I'd find myself in places where, you know, there were retired couples or just fairly wealthy people or doing those trips, whereas I spent everything. I spent everything I had to do these trips, whereas most people won't do that. Maybe students, you know, they spend everything and then go back and work, but a lot of other people won't do that. They'll just spend, you know, save a bit and then spend their savings and then go back to their jobs and stuff and keep on saving, whatever else. But I spent everything, and I did that multiple times. I moved out of apartments and didn't have anything. I just had a box or whatever. I put a box in storage or leave a box at my friend's house or something. And I've never had anything either. Never owned much. I've never owned a car, for example. I used to play the guitar, and I don't take the guitar around either. I usually travel with a waterproof pack, and that's about 7 to 10 kilograms, I suppose. The pack itself only weighs 700 grams, and I can take that as carry-on. That's what I've whittled it down to, basically. Just simplified everything. And the lenses I use, just generally 28 millimeter and a 50 millimeter, or something between 24 to 70, 24 to 80, those kinds of lengths. That's the sacrifice I've had to make. I've never been able to take big lenses, big sports lenses or wildlife lenses, because it would just be too big. I couldn't take that stuff on carry-on, and I couldn't continue with some trips because I need the space. But my gear itself probably weighs about 2.5 kilos or 3 kilos at the moment. Sometimes it might only weigh 1.5 kilos or something. And I've taken video cameras and stuff as well separately, and GoPros, action cameras as well. I used one of them in 2010. So all the basic equipment really, but still, yeah, kept it to what you would see on a phone really, 28 and 50 millimeter. Lots of phones have those focal lengths, and I work within that. And to hopefully produce images that move people, because I was moved in the moment, and sometimes videos as well. But yeah, let's go back to the start, and I'll remember things as I go along, and I'll probably just put those things in, and we'll see how this develops, see how it unfolds.